Hello, and welcome to Zababez, or I'm Zababez, or you know what, I need to find a better intro than that. I changed the setting on my mic. Before, my mic had a setting where it filtered out bass sounds. That was probably why I sounded so um, on edge, is because my microphone was filtering out most of the low frequency sounds that were going through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ramble while eating a sandwich. I hope that relaxes you, because that's the purpose of these videos, is to put you to sleep with my ramblings, because my ramblings are always, they end up being very insightful, and which is something that I am aware of because people tell it to me, but I don't really like bragging about being intelligent, because it makes people feel, it doesn't make other people feel anything, because they recognize that I'm not bragging because of a reduced sense of self-worth. They realize that I'm talking about this because I've gotten feedback about this, but let's see. I have a lot of very interesting things that I can talk about, but some of those interesting things are things that I want to keep locked up for a little while longer. What I'm going to talk about today is my impressive record of rejections for my books. So, I'm a writer, I'm an author. As you probably know, if you've watched this channel, I plug my books at every chance I get. Get the books down there in the description. Down there in the description. I'll link you to the 99-cent versions of the books. One of them is titled October, Autumn, Daughter of the Dawn, and that is my finest masterpiece, the one I like the most, because it was written, well, I'm taking the bread and balling it up like that. October, Autumn, Daughter of the Dawn. It's about a magical girl. I don't know. You see, one of the things that I happened to stumble upon while writing my first book was a westernized interpretation of magical girls, like Cardcaptor Sakura or Shugochara or Sailor Moon or those kind of things. And they're these immortal beings who protect the universe, and they're immortal protectors. That's what I've written them as. And they look like little girls. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm a pedophile. I'm kind of afraid of that. I don't do anything to my hair. No gel, no pomade, no cream or whatever. I used to put a lot of gel in my hair. It used to be like a used to be a hard helmet that you could like knock on, like you knock on wood, you can knock on my hair because it was as hard as wood because of all the gel I put into it. But those days are over, and hmm, I wanted to just talk about my books, so to speak. That sounded kind of serious, like I want to talk about what you've been looking up on the internet, like your parents. They say, I want to talk about that. I actually, this is an honest, I don't watch any porn because I'm on medication that makes me, my libido is suppressed to a frightening degree because I take Zyprexa, or I have schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, so I take medication for that, and one of the side effects of that medication is that your libido is suppressed and you just can't get in the mood, so to speak. And the reason why I'm talking about it like this is because I think it's good to educate people about what it feels like to be part of the minority, so to speak, because I've talked about how it feels to have schizophrenia, but one of the other, and this is the point I accidentally am going to make, but one of the other things that happens when I'm on Zyprexa is that I feel really uninvolved in my writing. I have writing and I like writing and I really love writing. I just hiccuped. And I really enjoy writing. And this medication makes me feel really out of it, so to speak, but that's just because of who I am. It's just a part of the genetic lottery I pulled is that I'll have these episodes where I'll believe in the Illuminati. I'll believe that the Illuminati is contacting me, but something like that. But that's for another time. Now I'm going to talk about how it feels to get rejected as a writer, because everyone always says, oh, you get rejected a lot when you're starting out as a writer. You get rejected a lot. Everyone always says that. They always say, like J.K. Rowling was rejected like 14 times before she finally found a publisher. But I've been rejected hundreds of times by agents. I actually haven't sent any unsolicited manuscripts into publishing houses because that's bad form, because publishing houses have a larger slush pile than agents, and publishing houses generally do not accept unsolicited manuscripts. Unsolicited means without prior contract. And so in order to have a solicitor for your manuscript, in order to make your manuscript solicited, the best way to make your manuscript solicited so it is no longer unsolicited is I've never heard solicited used like that. Like no solicitors, you have a sign in your. Anyways, you have these agents who solicit your work for you. I've heard it used that way. The publishing business works like this. You have writers, then you have agents, and then you have publishing houses. And so what a writer needs to do before he can get his book published is to find an agent. 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 And I've sent I've sent letters to every single agency in the entire world. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I've sent letters to almost every single literary agency that has advertised on the internet. I've scoured every single literary agent database there is, all of the popular ones, some of the unpopular ones. And I've sent most of my manuscripts in at least once, so I have 9 manuscripts. 8 of them I've sent copies of to agents. Every single one of them has been rejected. And through those 8 manuscripts combined, I've probably contacted about every single literary agency that advertises itself online, which is to say, maybe I'm just a bad writer. I've thought about that. I've thought about that many times. But, see, I think one of the reasons why my writing isn't being accepted is because I usually start out, I don't start strong in my books. I have a difficulty starting strong in my books. I have a lot of difficulty starting strong. And, maybe I'm just not a good author because no one seems to be interested in the stuff that I do. Because I do a lot of stuff. I am a creator at heart, I suppose, though that is a diagnosis it is a diagnosis, I suppose, a self-diagnosed creator. I have the creator bug. Maybe it's because of who I am, or maybe it's because of my illness, but I can't really seem to get my manuscripts anywhere. I can't really seem to get a foothold in the publishing industry. For 3.5 years, not 3.5 years, about 3 years. It's going to be 3 years since my first book was finished. And in that time, I've written 9 books, and that's 3 books a year. And it's a feeling of, oh, here we go again. When I finish a new book, I'm like, well, here we go again. I'm going to keep submitting. I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to keep trying. Perseverance. I asked the I Ching. If you don't know what the I Ching is an ancient Chinese fortune-telling device, and I asked the I Ching if I would become a professional writer in the future, and the I Ching told me perseverance and durability, which is to say, the I Ching was like, I don't know, man, you just gotta try really hard. I don't know, you look up the I Ching if you want to know more about it. I don't want to talk about it right now because it's kind of weird and wiggy and out there, and I should get a background. This is the background of the library right now, and I do this because it's very calming and it's very relaxing, and it focuses most of the attention on me, which isn't very good because I have a lot of acne scars. I had really bad acne as a kid. I had to take acne medication. I don't have acne now, although I do have a pimple right there. Yeah. Wow. Ugh. I got like the cystic acne. There's a difference between there's bad acne, then there's really bad acne, and then there's horrible acne. I had really bad acne. I didn't have horrible acne. I didn't have like rosacea, which is a disease of the skin that causes big red rashes across your face. Although one time I did get those cold sores, those painful cold sores. One time I did get those painful cold sores all across my face like this, and the doctor said it was because the cold sores are usually contained around the lip. That's actually herpes type 2. Herpes type Herpes type B, cold sores that happen right there. But they spread because of the acne scars. So the acne, I had acne at the time, and the acne opened up my immune system, where and the cold sores spread across my entire face, and it was painful as hell. I was lying in bed one night, just unable to sleep because of how painful all the cold sores were, and that's when I decided to go to the doctor. I was like, Mom, you gotta take me to the hospital, and they gave me some antivirals. Vacyclovir is the medicine used to treat cold sores, and I had cystic acne as a kid, which is the big cysts. Instead of little pimples that you have, they're big cysts, and I would have them, like, see that right there? That's a scar from cystic acne. Yep. That's a scar from cystic acne. And the lighting isn't too good, so it's highlighting the acne scars that I have. My brothers didn't have acne at all. I was the only one with acne for some reason. My brothers, they don't have any acne at all. I don't know, maybe it's where we live, maybe it's the fact that we're in Louisiana now, and we have humidity, and acne doesn't work as well when it's humid, maybe, I don't know. Drop some crumbs. If any one of you knows a publishing agent, if any one of you knows a publishing agent, then kindly introduce me to them, because I would love to have a one-to-one, face-to-face contact with a publisher, an agent, someone in the agenting business, because I think that's the best way to sell your work, is face-to-face with an agent, because most agents get millions of email queries, not millions, like hundreds, sometimes thousands of email queries, and that's the kind of query I send out. I send out email query letters, and the thing about email query letters is that there's a lot of them, and they can't be dealt with on a you can't really spend that much time on an email query letter. In fact, I haven't even gotten past the first gate. See, there are two gates to getting yourself an agent. There is the query letter, where you send a query letter that says, hello, my name is so-and-so, and this is the book I have written, and this is what it's about. And you send the first, 10 pages, the first 3 chapters. You attach that to the body of the email, and then you mail it out. And then what happens is the agent reads the book, and they read the query letter, and then it asks for a full manuscript. They ask for a full manuscript, which is almost... It never happens to me. It's only happened twice to me, and both of them said no after reading the full manuscript. I mean, I wrote a book about a McDonald's restaurant that turns into a giant robot. An 80,000 word book about a McDonald's restaurant that turns into a giant robot. That was my pride and joy when I finished it. I was like, yeah. But I still like my book October Autumn Daughter of the Dawn better. Mac was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun book to write. But I did get bored halfway through it, and did some random things, and caused the book to be not as good as it could have been. But it's a very funny book. It's funny. It's got some humor in it. It's got all sorts of things in it. And being an author who isn't published, I just don't know how much further I can go with writing, because I just keep writing and writing and writing, and no one listens to me. No one does anything for me. No one helps me out. No one does anything. No one helps me out. I mean, it's like you're shouting into a maelstrom. You're shouting into a maelstrom with this in the current publishing industry. There's just so many books, and I go to a library. This is an apple. Look at that. I go to a library and I look at all the books and I think, how many people have read these books? There's just so many books, so many books that it's my work is meaningless. My work is meaningless. My work is meaningless because my work is meaningless. That's it. That's the only thing I can say. My work is meaningless because there's just so much out there. It's just a maelstrom of people writing and putting up their writing and reading and sending in query letters, and it's just everyone's trying to be heard, and no one can hear me because I just don't get heard. And I want to be a professional writer because I like writing and I like professionally writing. I write all the time because writing is the only thing that entertains me nowadays. And so this is an interesting thing that you probably never thought of, but this thing right here in an apple, how the stem is right here? This thing right here used to be a flower. This thing right here used to be a flower. This is where the flower was, because apples grow from flowers. So, at the life cycle of an apple, there is a flower on the apple tree, and the flower is pollinated by a bee or some sort of pollinating insect or bird. And then the flower turns into a fruit. And that's the remnants of the flower right there. Pretty cool, right? That's it. I'll catch you later. I'll probably upload another video today about a different subject. See you later.